My name is Shogun, and today we are having our second session of our new Mage the Ascension campaign. You can find the first 3 hours of that campaign on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and join us on the Temple Mount Discord server. That being said, we have our Dungeon Master Dude Missile, and we have our party, Ral Shanatarokar, Rupert Sheldrake, and Ghost, and we are going to kick off our second gaming session now. Welcome, Dude Missile. Thanks for joining us as the DM again. And you can start us out however you want.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is I want all three players who were there last session, like playing, to roll a d10.
Okay. Roll d10. I rolled a 4. Teos rolled a 7. A.k.a. Rupert Sheldrake. And Grug, a.k.a. Ral, also rolled a 4.
Okay, Teos, if you could, for a couple bonus experience points that I will give you at the end of this game when I give you guys experience points, can you give us like a sort of brief recap of where we're at?
Oh.
Did you say no?
Yes.
Okay.
I can do it if you want.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thanks, Shogun.
Okay, so the adventure began with Ral Shanatarokar being hired by a corporation called Syndicate Corporation, which is abbreviated to Syncor. And after being hired as a C3 employee, which was higher than what he actually applied to, which was a C2 position, he was brought into Syncor with a high level of security clearance. He then met his bodyguard and partner from Syncor, who is a modern ninja trained by Syn Corporation named Ghost, who is both a bodyguard and partner of Ral Shanatarokar, assigned to his protection by Syncor. Syncor has noticed some irregularities in their importing and exporting, shipping and receiving, and specifically their pharmaceutical industry has been contaminated by intentionally introduced contaminants. And in the course of our investigation, we were able to uncover shipping manifests. We got some testimonies from people that we interrogated. We got a few names and addresses. We tested the drug samples and found the contaminations in the drug samples. And we eventually went to a club where we encountered some Yakuza members. Violence broke out, and we were able to kill the Yakuza members, take a prisoner, and escape in our corporate vehicle back to our corporate safe house where we are now, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically it, right? Okay. So, yeah. First thing, what we're gonna do now. This is like a custom mechanic. If anyone listening has played Mage before, you might not recognize this because this is a custom mechanic. But Teos, we're gonna get you to roll sanity to start out with, if that's okay.
So Teos has a current sanity level of, we'll say, well, it's at 4, I guess.
Just because, like, the reason I'm getting you to do it now is like you guys have just like rested, and so perhaps what I'm sort of imagining is Rupert, like sort of everything's sort of hitting him right all at once, that all this stuff has happened, right? So
looks like I had a successful roll. I had an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you're holding it together, I guess. Right. Okay. So
yeah, you gotta stop asking, start telling us.
Right. Well. First off, I mean, you guys have your mission, so. Oh wait, you're going back to HQ, aren't you?
Yeah, we need to go back to headquarters, not the safe house. I remember now.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So as you guys arrive at the HQ, you can see the in between guy, the Mr. Smith, who's not your real boss, but just sort of the in between you and your real boss, Grug. You can see he looks pissed off. not in like the grumpy way he always looks, but in the sense that you may have forgotten something. So what do you guys do?
I approach the enraged Mr. Smith and I say, hey there, Daddy-O, how's it going, man? Hey, you look like you could use a drink. You want to go walk around the block with me? We can go hang out and we can talk about whatever you need to talk about. Do you want to talk to me?
He says, 1, you left several bodies at the club. Okay? That is a lot of heat to be bringing on this corporation. 2, who is this guy? Who is this fucking crack addict looking motherfucker that I am seeing standing in our place of professionalism? And he points at
Okay, so I'd like to make a roll for the fact that I actually put all of the bodies that we had left behind in my green duffel bag.
Oh, would you like? Okay, what are you thinking
Yeah.
for this role? Like, I guess it'd be like how
Well, I've actually been meaning to like message you privately about it.
Oh, okay.
And just say like, hey man, like I have this duffel bag of holding, and the thing about it is he likes to put all the bodies in it. It's kind of weird.
Okay. Well, jeez. Okay, we
I
have
mean,
to. Okay,
technically, you would have to technically declare that at the time, right? You can't retroactively declare it, from my understanding, because that would have changed. That would have changed the mechanics of the situation. We would have needed time, and we would have needed to probably like chop the bodies up to even fit them in the bag.
No way, dude. This bag, that's the whole purpose of this bag. It's
Well, I get it, right? But I'm not sure we had time, because if you remember how that went down, it was like a pretty dicey situation with like a gunfight and a quick escape. So generally speaking, right, you can't say like, oh, I did this, but I didn't declare it at the time. What you could do is make a roll. This is just a meta suggestion. You could make a roll to charismatically influence the guy, or use like one of your spheres, or you could use one of your stats to like influence a guy. Like you have 4 in manipulation, for example, and an etiquette of 3, so you could potentially roll like 7 dice to like make a good impression on this guy. It's up to the DM if he's allowed to put the dead bodies in the bag.
I'm going to say, in general, Shogun is right. You got to declare it when it's happening. But we're still sort of in grace period. This is the first time Teos has played this game. So I will say, if you want to, for just this one time only, if you want to say you put them in the bag, we can go with that.
Awesome. So if that's the case, and he's not mad about the dead bodies,
no,
but
and he's just confused as to why there's like this scruffy hillbilly in his like really fancy office building, right?
I would step forward and bow, right? And I'd go, "Os, sensei," except I wouldn't say sensei because you're not my sensei. And I'd say, "Sir, we encountered this disparate mage during our operation, and I used my corporate authority to temporarily recruit him as an asset of the corporation, as a civilian asset. He's proved very useful in this last mission, and we believe he can be a continued asset to the corporation. I realize this is highly irregular, but it was a very chaotic situation, and we may not have escaped it without the assistance of this individual. We've already briefed him on entry-level security and non-disclosure operational security. I can personally testify to his trustworthiness, and if it turns out that I'm wrong, I accept all the consequences on myself, sir."
And he looks at you and he says, "I sure hope you're prepared to live up to that statement. But we will see. We will see." Huh?
Well, hang on.
Robot
Smithy here this morning. Oh.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We got you now. Yeah.
Well, I'm interjecting myself into the conversation, like getting noticeably close to Smith and kind of smiling at him. Wait a second, you didn't read your morning brief. It's all been cleared by Syncor, and plus here you go. And I like shove a manila folder into his chest. It's all in the report. Get to work.
And then I just add in and say, sir, we've successfully obtained shipping manifests from the Import-Export Corporation. We have samples of the contaminated drugs, and we also have a hostage to interrogate, as well as identification and cell phones from the Yakuza members named Dancing Smoke, who appears to have been in charge of the club known as the Dome. So we can only, and they basically admitted to us that they were responsible for adulterating the drugs, and they attempted to bribe us. Obviously, as you know, how that ended.
So he says, oh, one sec. Okay. Okay, so he says, so are they the source? Is this all cleared up now if they're removed from the equation?
We can't say that the entire organization is removed from the equation. However, the individual by the name of Dancing Smoke, as well as his two companions, have been executed, and one of them taken prisoner. We were given two names by the employee we interrogated at the shipping office. Those names were Okina Komuri and Araki Shoto. Furthermore, we have the name of the corporation where the contaminated drugs came from. It's known as Kami Corp. And we've confirmed that they've been adulterating both our recreational and our pharmaceutical supply lines. So we've confirmed the Yakuza connection and the Japanese corporate connection.
Okay.
And I have the bodies of the guys that tried to kill us right here. And I start pulling the bodies out of my green duffel bag.
What do you do with him? Do you pour him out onto the floor, or like?
No. Like I start pulling them out. Like just like literally like I set the bag down so that it's on the ground, like pop up like Santa Claus bag. I just start pulling the bodies out and throwing them on the floor.
I think there was a total of 2 bodies, right? Didn't we kill 2 people and take 1 hostage?
Yes, you killed 2. Wait, what happened to the last guy? You killed Dancing Smoke.
We killed Dancing Smoke and one of his.
You took as a hostage. Yeah.
That's correct, and presumably we've already handed him over to Syncor for interrogation.
Right. So you see like Tios or Rupert, he looks at you and he says like, "Wow, you've really got some the packing skills of a guy managing a clown car, don't you?"
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot. And then I take a single napkin and I unfold it and I place it over their faces. Each one of them.
The dead body.
Yeah. So yeah, he looks visibly you guys can tell that he looks like visibly confused at how Tios fit those 2 bodies in that a bag of that size. And the thing so go ahead, continue.
I put my backpack on my bag and I just look at everybody.
I'm like, well,
he says,
I just tell Smith, well, your problem now.
Sir, to my understanding, we have accomplished our first set of objectives. Do we have further objectives that are required by the corporation?
Give me a second. Hang on. A quick little intermission here while I message Valen.
And as the intermission is happening, I highly suggest we crack these cell phones if we can crack their encryption, and then we can look through them for further information, contacts, networks. There could be further evidence in these cell phones. We also have the wallets of the individuals we killed, so there could be identification, probably fake IDs, but we might still be able to give them to corporate intelligence and get somewhere.
Okay, so he says, apparently your next orders are above my clearance level, so the administrators will contact you shortly. Make sure to get somewhere private and where no outside of the public view where no one's going to intercept the boss's message, basically. Is what he says.
Given that our safe house has now been used twice, and the first time we used it was after a pretty spectacular car chase and assault of a technocrat, do you guys think that our Syncor provided safe house is still secure, or should we relocate for operational security?
After a big attack on the Yakuza, I would recommend moving locations.
Yeah, I'm sure the heat will die down at some point. But hey, Rupert, where'd we leave your van?
I believe we parked it in his garage, right?
It's the RV is at Greg Pill's safe house.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I just pipe up. Does anybody want to go for a road trip?
I propose that, is it possible for Syncor to do a quick paint job on a van? Just paint it black or something and change the license plates?
Oh, that would be awesome.
I assume that's within Syncor's capabilities. Or they could give us a new vehicle, I suggest.
A new RV?
Yeah, maybe a new RV that hasn't been crashed into twice.
Well, I mean, you know, my private domicile was damaged in the procurement of very important work.
You're saying this to Smithy? This is Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith,
And
yeah,
to Rawl and to Shogun.
I'm requesting to Mr. Smith that we are provided with
Wow.
a new vehicle.
He says, you should take that up with the higher ups when they contact you, because as you know, procurement of equipment tends to be dependent on the job being given. You know, a more complicated job warrants more procurement of.
Okay, interrupt him. I'm going to try to use my charisma and I'm going to try to use my charisma to convince him to give me a new RV.
Okay.
Just so you know, you have a higher manipulation score than you have a charisma score.
Well, that's part of my. That's what I mean. I just mean like my or it's part of my charisma talent tree.
You're gonna try and like charm him. It's like your social stats. You mean? Yeah.
Right. So again, you have 4 in manipulation and 3 in etiquette. So potentially you could have a dice pool of 7 if the DM agrees.
Yeah. Go ahead. Roll 7.
Teos knows all the language of the corporations.
Oh, because he's been researching, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
and
my god.
Sovereign citizen.
Rigged.
Do you roll some 1s?
Rigged, dude.
He repeats himself. He says, "You can take." Oh, is that it? Teos? I've got good news. He says, he says, well, okay. First off, how do you go about it? Like, what do you say to him in your attempt to like manipulate him? Right? Like role play it out real quickly. You're roboting.
Roboting to you.
Really hard there.
Maybe pop back in.
Is Grug still driving over there?
He's still driving, yeah.
I can still hear his signal lights.
Hello, Teos?
Listen. We could not have gotten this information if it wasn't for that RV being damaged. It needs to be compensated. It was damaged in company line of duty.
And you can see on his face he's almost like he's like he hears what you're saying, and he decides that he's going to be honorable, and he says, "Okay, we will provide for you a new state of the art RV. I can sign off on it myself. No higher ups permission needed."
Fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
Thank you, sir.
He basically writes you like a blank check, and he says, "Go down to the dealership, pick out one yourself," and he hands it to Tios.
I say, I believe we also have some unfinished business with Tios. Some promises were made. It sounds like we have a little bit of time. Maybe we can stop by at a McDonald's on the way to the RV store, the RV dealership, and pick up some new napkins for you.
The Mr. Smith says, like, what are you, napkins? What are you talking about?
I make a gesture at him and indicate like, this is a prior agreement that we've made. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is
And-
all security related stuff. Real Black Ops, Dark Cube type questions you're asking here. Just better that you leave it to us to take care of the napkin question.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't. This is on a need to know basis, with all due respect.
He says, all right, yeah, you work on that then. I've actually got responsibilities to accomplish at the moment anyway. And with that, he starts walking away.
All right, so we take our leave of the facility, or do we need to do anything while we're here, like resupply or drop anything else off?
If you just want to declare, all we need to do to resupply is if you just want to declare what you're.
I would like to request one further item of requisition from the corporate inventory after our last encounter. Is it possible for us to be issued bulletproof vests?
He says yes, but not the top line. He says you can get. We've got some basic equipment, yes, but the higher
Okay.
tech stuff is not available right now.
So we go to the lockers and we use our key cards to open the equipment lockers and pull out 3 basic bulletproof vests, one for each member of the party. I hand Raul and Rupert their bulletproof vests that fit their size best.
So Rupert has been given a blank check from this guy, and he's he's freaking out internally because he's been secretly eyeing these bulletproof military industrial like RV campers, right? Like these massive RVs. He's thinking like the guy said I could just get like give me a blank check, right? He's freaking out. It's like so he like pulls out his phone and he's like pulls up this just like $500,000 like industrial military bulletproof RPG proof fucking for the president RV camper, you know, and he like shows it to Shogun. He's like he's showing him the blank check and then the phone. He's like, what do we do here? Right? This is obviously what we get, right?
I nod and shrug and say, Syncor has deep pockets, but we'll have to see if it clears accounting. So that being said, with our new bulletproof vest and Tios's blank check, we bow to whoever remains, or at least I bow, and we take our leave of the HQ and re-enter our corporate vehicle, I guess, that we're using, which was the sedan that we had, I think, to get here. Now,
Yeah, I believe.
yeah. Who's going to drive?
I'll drive. This one's my vehicle as we're going down to pick up. Are we picking up the RV or McDonald's first?
We'll stop at McDonald's on the way to the RV. Tios, you take shotgun since you're a marksman, and I sit in the back seat behind Tios again.
All right, visors up, shades on, techno music playing as we roll down the highway to go get some McDonald's on our way. I suppose the RV is out of town. The RV lot is out of town, probably not in the center of Manhattan.
Right, so we get in the car, we begin driving. I have my black face mask and sunglasses on again, so I'm concealed my appearance. And we head to the closest McDonald's franchise.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys arrive at the McDonald's. the drive-throughs. We'll say it's what. Let's say it's a little bit after lunchtime by the time you get there, so the drive-through's not like totally packed. Doesn't look too busy inside, but there's you know there's some people there, but it's not like it's not rush hour right now.
I asked Tios, do you want to go inside the franchise or through the drive-through? This is your trip here.
We have to go inside if we want to get the most names that we can.
I got it. Let's play a game. Whoever can come back here with the most napkins without getting caught wins. What do you guys say?
You just see Rupert's eyes light up. He's already getting out of the car and he's heading to the storage room of the McDonald's. Right?
And then my character will accompany Tios a few steps behind him, and I motion to Grug and say, maybe watch our backs or keep an eye on the.
I'm like, wait a second. I didn't say go. I slammed the car door, hit the lock button, and then I'm looking for a way to actually like crawl up on top of the building, in order to like sling down through like an AC vent or like a stairwell or something that might lead to a back room where the napkins are stored instead of going in through the front door.
Okay, so Ghost and Tios go through the front door while Raul tries to find a way to climb onto the roof from outside.
And Rupert acts like he's done this a million times. He walks in and he starts pointing at the ceiling, and he just walks directly behind the counter, and he's like, yeah, so we're going to have to fix these ceiling panels here. He's acting like an employee, one of the maintenance workers there at McDonald's. And he knows the floor plan of every McDonald's that has ever been made and heads directly to where they keep the extra napkin boxes.
And as Tios is doing that, I go to the counter and start like very loudly and aggressively demanding that I get 2 Big Macs with cheese to try and distract the employees from what Tios is doing. And I'm like, hey, I ordered this. I need it now. I'm trying to just like keep their attention on me as much as possible, the clerk staff. I'm like, I want 2 Big Macs, two large fries, and an extra large coffee.
Did you like cut in line or something?
Yeah, I cut right to the front of the line, right in front of everybody else who's there, to create as much of a disturbance as possible. I literally like walk right in front of the person who's like making their order and like basically push them out of the way and be like, double Big Mac with cheese.
And then you see the guy like approach you, and he says like, "Hey man, you can't just cut in line. I was in the middle of ordering."
I say, I'm in a rush. Trust me, my time is more important than yours.
I got like 5 minutes left I got 5 minutes left before I got to get back to work. I need to leave. I need my order as fast as possible. What are you doing? That's so important.
I just keep saying Big Mac with cheese, double Big Mac with cheese. I'm on the clock.
Okay, and he sort of like goes like, ugh, and just sort of backs off from you because he's not gonna start a fight in the McDonald's.
Do I need to roll anything to figure out if I was successful in climbing the building and going down the...
Yeah, we'll do athletics plus either strength. Whatever you have highest in athletics and plus strength or dexterity, right?
He's got dexterity 5, athletics 0.
Okay.
So, dice
okay.
pool 5.
So, yeah.
Seven, 9, 5, 10, 6.
Yeah, you get up there with ease. That was a really good roll.
Now I want to do one more thing, which is make sure I don't get caught. So I want to use my stealth to like creep down into the back rooms, like look at the fry cooks and try to find just a big cardboard box of napkins and nab it and then leave the way that I came.
So Greg has stealth 4. But maybe Tios should get a chance to make an action.
Yeah. Tios, what do you want to do?
Okay, so yeah, like I said, he has done this time and time again. This is not something new to him. He knows this McDonald's floor layout. He goes right to the storage cabinet where they keep the napkins. He opens it up. He's grabbing 2 boxes of napkins, And he's trying to walk out the door with them, and he's saying as he's going, he's like, "I've got new dispensers for these napkins." The whole time he's been just talking and muttering. He's like, "We've got to replace these floor panels. We've got to get this grease traps cleaned out." Right, and he's just walking towards the door with the boxes of napkins.
Okay. What did you have between charisma and manipulation? What did you have highest?
Teos have manipulation of 4.
Okay. If you want to roll that, and when you roll that, I will tell you what you're rolling for after you roll. Okay, so around you, Teos, the sort of other employees sort of look like they're thinking like the other people in the storage room. They're pretty sure you're not supposed to be there, but they're not sure because you're so confidently talking about these napkin dispensers that they can't decide whether they think you're like just a trespasser or like someone who's above them on payroll, right? So they don't. So no, basically no one disturbs you. So back to Grug. So what would you like to do?
I'm just
And
gonna
I
try
walk
to.
outside, and I go back to the car.
I'm just gonna try to like stealthily nab one cardboard box full of napkins, like the supply, not the retail, but the supply in the back, and then just go back up the way without getting caught.
Okay, if you would like to, I think because it is just a stealth check, we can assume that as part of that check, that includes like, oh, staying out of the way of the camera. Ooh, that sort of thing, right? So, if you want to make a stealth plus, I guess I'd say, what would you say? Stealth plus, like awareness, maybe.
Okay, what's my awareness is 5, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
and your
God.
stealth is 4.
All right,
Holy
so it's
shit.
11, 5, 6, 10 on the stealth, 6, 10, 4, 1, 9 on the awareness.
Okay, so let's call that 2 successes, the 9 and the 10. Because 6 doesn't seem high enough, 4 doesn't seem high enough. Considering that you're breaking into a McDonald's in broad daylight while there are other people in the room. So, well, the 1 cancels out the 9. So you like just barely get out unnoticed, but but someone notices that something's wrong. Like they hear something, they just didn't register that it was you. They didn't see
Is-
you. They just heard stuff like moving around and stuff. They
I
heard
start
something.
I start banging on the counter and saying, "Double Big Mac with cheese, double Big Mac with cheese," as
And-
loud as I can.
And the cashier, she says like, you got to pay for it first, sir.
I put like $40 in cash in the table.
She puts it into the till, she counts it out, she gives you your change, and then she's like, that'll be a minute or two, sir.
I say, "Keep the change," and just walk out to the RV.
Take your food.
Are we at the RV yet? We haven't gotten the RV yet.
No, you guys are just at
Oh,
the
yeah. The
you're just at
sedan.
McDonald's. You're on the way to get the RV.
Although I
Right.
guess Grug is technically still inside the McDonald's, so I'll stay there and wait for my food.
Okay. Yeah. So Teos, you're back at the car, right?
Yeah, I'm back at the car with my napkins.
Okay. So Grug, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just leaving the way that I came. So I guess they heard like a door squeak and noticed like a box of napkins gone, but
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
take it. And I'm just like jumping down off the roof, landing back next to the car, looking around shadily, and then like sweeping inside of the car, closing the door, seeing Tio stare. I'm like, oh man, you beat me, but I got more than you. How many do you have?
And I now leave both the change and without my food.
like his Rupert had only grabbed 2 of the smaller boxes. He's amazed to see that Grug has grabbed an entire box of small boxes, and he's just like looking in amazement. And he says, "Yeah, so I mean, this is the game is great. You win, but I'm going to get those napkins, right?"
And
All right. You can
I
have
would
it, but I'm shotgunning your joint.
Dude, this is so bro.
Oh. Rupert starts just like he's just like holding his head and he's kind of like crying a little bit. He says like, "This is the greatest day of my life."
I would argue that Teos should potentially gain a sanity point here, maybe.
What? What? Because he's like able to keep his shit back together easier because he's in such a good mood.
Well, getting napkins is like losing napkins triggers him, and getting napkins
Okay.
happier. So I would argue that, you know, maybe he could gain a sanity point from this, like things, all these good things that are happening to him now, like getting the new RV and getting the McDonald's napkins.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Teos, you are now at 9 sanity.
All right, so let's get out of here. Let's go to the RV store. Let's go.
So we re-enter the vehicle, same configuration. Teos has sanity 9, and we leave heading in the direction of the RV dealership.
I mean, by the way, just so you guys know, you remember you do have to take that call at some point from the higher ups to get your next orders.
Right. Has the phone rang?
We let's just do the RV scene first. Let's do that first,
Sure.
and then we get to that. I'm just trying to get Valen in the game, is all. So
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you guys arrive at the RV dealership. It's like they've got a sort of a mix of newer and used models, right? But it's sort of like a, you know, a little bit of everything kind of place. But yeah.
So I mentioned I motioned to Teos and say, go take a look around and see if one of these meets your requirements. And I just keep an eye on the situation from like standing beside the sedan. I suggest that Grug goes with Teos to make the purchase.
Rupert starts running around trying to find the nicest one on the lot.
The what one on the lot?
The nicest one on the lot.
Okay, so you as you sort of exploring, you find yourself in like the higher end section of the dealership, and you find 2 really nice ones that are nice in like different ways, right? So you have one that's like sort of like the one you saw the flyer of, where it's you know, it's really tough. It's gonna take a beating, maybe take a couple gunshots. But on the inside it actually looks quite simple. Whereas you also have one that looks like it's not nearly as strong and like durable, but it's got like solar panels, it's got like a carpeted floor, and it's like really luxurious inside, right? And it's got like a lot of amenities, but it doesn't look like it would take as much of a beating, right?
Does it have like a satellite and cell phone and all this shit? Like,
Yeah, it's got like it's basically like one that you could really use as like a mobile base, as opposed to one that's like a sort of protective fortress, right?
okay, so I go back to the guys and I bring them back over to show them the two options.
I just remain like uninvolved in the conversation because I have no basis in like motor skill, like automotives. So I leave you and Grug to make the decision. But I kind of like gesture at my hand where a watch would be to be like times of the essence.
Raw, which one are we getting?
Oh, he was gone. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so we're gonna go with the fortress.
Okay.
Yeah. We can upgrade it later.
How much
Okay.
does it cost? I wonder.
Let's say like $500,000.
Wow, that's 100 times more than we promised you already. Plus, you got your napkins.
Yeah.
I didn't bring the Big Macs because we're under the our intelligence tells us some of it contains human meat. So
I'm like,
I pull it. Yeah.
out screwed. So this
Is he roboting for you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. He's on the road.
So what'd you say, Grug? Are you there?
Rawl is laughing about how this is going to reflect so poorly on Smithy for approving the request. Like, competitive. What's the word? Vindictive kind of like, oh man, this is so funny that Rupert really screwed over Smithy. Smithy's going to be looking so bad that's going to make another room for someone to move up in the organization, kind of thing.
Right.
So, Tios, why don't you go make the payment with your blank check, and we'll start getting this thing off the lot here.
Okay, Rupert goes through the process of purchasing the RV.
Okay, so I will say you can take this and run with it if you want, but if you want to just blow past it, that's fine. But the guy is like really sort of taken aback by you, Tios, by Rupert, and being able to afford an RV this expensive and this nice. But he runs you through. He takes the check, and he hands you the keys.
I say it's all yours, brother, but we got to get moving.
Okay, so where are we going?
I suggest we I don't know, get out of town or find some kind of RV camping place that's like out of the city for a bit, or some kind of nondescript RV camping park that we can use as our new base of operations.
Well, I
Upstate
tell
is
you
nice.
what,
You guys ever been to Niagara
I
Falls?
say we find an outfit that'll sell us proper bulletproof vests. I didn't like his response earlier.
I mean, I think we're lucky to have bulletproof vests, but yeah, we could go swing by some kind of American supply store where you can buy these things.
We should have
Do we
top
have
of
to-
the line gear, don't you think?
We should, but we
I
also are short on
I
time.
imagine Tios knows like all of the best like weapons dealers, and whether legal or not, like in every state through his network.
All right, Tios, why don't you take us to the best gun store that you know about in New York?
Okay,
The best
let's do
United
that.
Army surplus.
So, should I roll for that? Like, my character is like a gun nut and get a 5 in firearms. Imagine he was probably.
You have as a background or an assumed background that you're part of a gun club. And so you have connections to the firearms scene in America.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
part of
so-
it too was like you were leading some type of NRA type of deal with all your political points, but that might just be my misunderstanding.
Tios?
Yeah, we're waiting on you, dude. What's up?
Oh, I was waiting on. Okay, so was it that you were like running an NRA freedom movement, or was it like a conspiracy like paranormal research group, or like, what was the-
It's a conspiracy paranormal research group, and he's like a political expert nut, but his political ideology is like really whacked out, and singular only to him. So he's a sovereign citizen nut. So that was his deal, remember?
Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah, that was it.
if you want to roll like let's say firearms and I guess do you have
Politics?
wits or politics? Well,
I mean,
if you
Oh, he
No.
has streetwise.
okay,
Streetwise.
yeah, that would be good. Firearms and streetwise would be a good roll here.
Okay, that's a dice pool of 8.
Okay. And I need to do 3 more.
So you take the everyone to a place called Boomer's Boomsticks, right? And Boomer, he's sort of this. You've talked to him a couple times, like you've been here before. He has quality guns, quality Army Navy surplus store type stuff. Decent prices. I mean, not cheap, not like that. It's not exactly a deal, but the stuff is quality, right? And it's not like you're not getting ripped off, right? And it's run by this guy who goes by Boomer, and he's like just a typical gun nut, really passionate about firearms. Knows all about putting them together, cleaning them. Just really loves hunting, right? And yeah.
So
Okay.
I asked Tios, do these look better quality to you than the ones we got from Syncor?
Oh, these look like they're top of the line here. Oh yeah, we could definitely use these here. They're
I
more
asked
concealed.
Greg, can we expense account these?
Yeah, sure. Hey, why not?
So I suggest Greg pays with his black company credit card for the new bulletproof vest. Are we going to buy anything else while we're here?
I'll get a couple extra bullets, 9mm bullets.
So, meta game real quick. That dude missile. Do you have this?
For any shovel parties you might have to throw.
That's
Dude
right.
missile. Do you have the stats for like a 500 Smith and Wesson?
What kind of gun is it?
It's like a revolver.
Oh yes, I do. Hang on. I'm glad you said revolver because that's like one of the few things that's like there's not a lot of pre-made stats for weapons, but revolver is one of the things available. So let me just get there.
Is it just a standard revolver, or does it have different sizes? Because 500 is huge. Like a can.
We can just modify the stat on it like by a point or two, maybe make it a little bit harder to
Harder
While
hitting.
this- while
harder
this is
harder.
going on-
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, no, do the stat thing. My bad.
Yeah, sorry. So I know where it is. It's just hang on. These PDFs are hard to work with if you don't know what you're doing.
Well, while this is going on, I'm gonna like start chatting up Boomer and be like, "Man, this is a nice business you got." Like, ask him about how he got invested in it, what kind of cash flow it kicks off. Kind of charm him a little bit, and then actually get to the point that I want to ask, which is, man, a lot of these guns go click, 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 but do you have any that go click? You know what I mean? Got any firing pins in here that are extra bouncy? Like, maybe we can go in the back room and have a smoke and talk about it.
Who are you talking to, Boomer?
Yeah.
Okay, he says what he says. What are you thinking? Like a semi machine gun, an assault rifle?
I'm asking for full auto, which is illegal in the United States. If he has anything that can
Hey,
make
Shogun.
make a rifle full auto, or any that are already full auto.
Yeah, he says the closest he's got is like an M14. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any like machine guns or anything, but he's got like an M14 type thing. M14 is like that's an assault rifle, right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
closest he has.
that's right. When he says he doesn't have anything full auto, I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. And then we just talk about guns for a while.
Okay.
So while that's going on, can I make like an awareness or perception check to see if they sell, like, do places like this sell things like hand grenades? Can I search and see if there's grenades? I guess I could just ask Boomer,
the
but
closest they've got is tear gas. They've got tear gas grenades.
Nice, dude.
Like canisters.
those would come in handy.
Yeah.
If we can expense to count it, we don't need to, but otherwise I could try and like shoplift it, but I guess there's no point.
Yeah, we'll expense account it until they start spending. We'll just like charge the card, and I'll be like, hey, like, you got
All right,
Oh.
so we're gonna take 3 bulletproof vests, an M16, a Smith and Wesson revolver, and shall we say maybe 6 tear gas grenades?
Okay, so one second. Yep, I'll give you. So I'm gonna. So I posted. Let me just post the like the layout. So there's this. Oh, what is it not working? Oh, hang on. Okay, so here's how the chart is laid out. First number is damage, second number is range, third number is rate, fourth number is clip, fifth number is conceal rating, and then notes. So that's the revolver Teos in the gaming text channel. You want Shogun, you said you wanted an M14.
Not for me. That was what Greg wanted.
I thought he didn't want if they didn't have an
Oh,
LMG.
okay.
Okay, I was just asking if they have anything that's fully auto.
Yeah, they don't. So okay, so then for the tear gas, here's what that is.
All right, so we're taking a little bit of ammunition for Greg's pistol, the Smith and Wesson for Rupert, and 2 tear gas grenades each, basically.
Okay, we're kind of working on abstracted money right now, so don't worry about it too much right now.
Yeah, we have a corporate expense card. We've already spent more than $500,000 on this operation.
We got a black budget, but even that has its limits. So at some point, I expect the Syncor to tell me to rein it in.
Right.
But as for right now, like Brawl is just testing the limits of what he's like capable of doing, within the company.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
Well, first, I guess we'll go back into the RV, and then we can change our bulletproof vests into the improved versions. And I give each of the party members 2 tear gas grenades to, put in their pockets or do with as they wish. I keep 2 for myself and put them into my ninja belt pockets. And now that we're in the RV, I suggest again, now that we're fully armed and geared up, we should find a place to lay low until we get that call from corporate. How about some kind of out of the way RV camping site that's not so central to the urban city? Maybe we could get out in the forest a little bit where we're less likely to draw attention.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
does
head north.
anybody-
It's the opposite direction of DC, and that's where the least amount of municipalities are. Plus, I don't know if you guys have seen the leaves at this time of the year, but it's very nice drive. And I'm like, I assume there's like a couch in here and a TV. It's like all crazy amount of interior luxury as well as external defense. So I'm just enjoying all the amenities on the inside.
So this RV is pretty nice. Basically the difference between this one and the other one Teos was looking at is the other one was more self-sufficient, whereas this one you're gonna need to charge. You're gonna need to replace the battery if it runs out. That's get it refueled and stuff. Whereas the other one had solar panels and stuff, right? But yeah, it's a nice RV.
So, Teos, can you drive us to a camping spot for this RV?
Okay, so we drive to a camping spot in the area.
Okay.
While we're at Teos up about his paranormal investigations unit, some of the threads that they've been talking about through them, and just wondering if any of them have heard of any weird, spooky stuff that relates to business, in particular import-export.
And while they're having their conversation, Ghost goes to the back of the RV and meditates in full lotus position.
Okay, so Valen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so where is your character right now? It's so it should be June 13th or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
because it was June 11th when we started. That was what, 2 days ago in game. So it's June 13th. It's sometime after. It's, say 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Where is your character and what are they doing?
My character is currently on the highway riding their motorcycle.
Where are they going?
They are going to the forest.
The forest?
Yeah, the nearest national forest in New York.
Okay.
National park.
Hopefully the same forest that the RV camping spot is in, possibly.
Ooh, who knows? Maybe you guys will get lucky and run into each other.
Oh no.
Okay, so Valen, what did you say your character generally does with magic?
More nature-focused magic, healing, and with entropy, manipulation of luck.
And sort of what so that's the type of magic he has, but what does he do with it? What would you call him? Like, is he a vigilante? Is he like a local healer? Is he like what are his goals really?
More of a local wanderer who heals people, could be viewed as a prophet figure, but who
Okay.
survives mainly in the woods and in nature.
Okay.
Isn't much about technology.
So Shogun and Grug, you guys receive a call from the higher ups, from the person who is actually your boss, Grug.
Roll.
So and as per usual, the sort of the like past a certain point, if you ever hear like one of the higher ups' voice past a certain point of seniority in the company, you're gonna be hearing it through a filter, right? And so you hear like this muffled listen carefully. This shall be a short transmission. And he says there is a local anomaly that has been healing that has been offering healing services, who operates out of the forest. He may provide some use to you if you can procure his help. Also, and then he says, also your credit account is being shut down for the time being until productivity increases. You've been spending too much money and not getting enough results, right? And then it ends with like a sign off, like pre-recorded transmission thing that says like SynCorp Incorporated, you know.
Just a minor note: Grug's actual boss that gave him the job was just known as C-134.
Okay. So, what do you think? Is this person I just was playing as? Is that going to be like someone higher up or lower? What would you say? Like, give me the.
Yeah, same person.
Hmm.
That would be the same person, probably.
Oh, okay. So were they someone you didn't hear the voice of? Like, were they secretive?
No, we heard his voice. That Greg had a personal one-on-one job interview with C-134.
Okay. So let's just say that the reason there was a voice change this time is because it was over like a transmission, right? And so perhaps he would, go ahead.
I thought you were saying they were using like a voice disorder.
They were, and what I'm saying is they were using a voice disorder because this was a transmission, whereas which explains why he would use it, but also still be willing to meet you, right? Because it's like they don't want to take the risk of the call being intercepted, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
So I clicked, and after the transmission, I said, "These dickheads are always piling more work on my plate and then complaining about me not making them enough money." Oh well. And I just like informed, hey, there's some guy out here, and I just give a loose description of him. Like, I don't care that much to pursue it, but if you see him, keep an eye out on it. Might keep the funds flowing a little bit.
I say to Greg, this is above your pay grade, but securing disparate mages and other people who are capable of influencing reality in the way that we do is a high order priority for SynCorp. It's a part of our research and development for Super Soldier projects investigation. So we should definitely try and track down this operative as soon as possible. They wouldn't have called us if it wasn't important.
I accept this and just talking back, not actually rejecting the idea. I'm just talking back. Yeah. Well, tell them to put it on your P&L, not mine.
I don't even have a credit card.
Exactly. So.
So.
You there?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking, where do we start? What's the next step?
Well, we got to get to the RV camping site first of all.
You guys are already there, I thought.
Okay. So that being the case, I say I'm going to go take a look around for operational security, make sure the area is secure. You guys can come with me if you want, or you can wait here.
I'm looking for a place to swim.
All right.
Is there a nice fed creek nearby or anything?
There's there's like a big old lake.
Perfect. I'm diving in, doing some strokes, swimming around, having a good time. Rocks.
Yeah, I will say it's it's visible from the RV, but you gotta like walk through the woods a bit, right? So you gotta like punch your feet over branches and whatnot.
But yeah, I'm only taking my dagger, not the gun, and then I'll leave like my suit jacket and the bulletproof vest, and just head on down to the lake for a little swim.
So while Greg goes for a swim, I will go for a walk around the camping site. But first, I'm just I gesture at Tios, like, "Are you coming with me or not?"
Yeah,
are you there, Tios?
Yeah, I'm going with the guys. Yeah.
Okay, well, Greg's going swimming, so Tios, or rather Rupert and Ghost, go for a walk around the camping site, and I would like to roll a perception check to see if I can notice anybody who looks like they stand out or is interesting, or just anything out of the ordinary.
Okay, so first off, we'll get to that in a second. So Valen, you arrive at the woods. What do you do?
So as I pull up into the parking lot of the campsite, my character pulls off onto their bike and parks it, removing their helmet and placing it on the steering wheel, and proceeds to look around for anyone that looks sickly or in use or in need of help.
Okay. Would you like to make a roll or anything? Like you want to do like a perception check, like a awareness perception check then, or something?
Let me just check my things real quick. So, awareness or perception.
You could roll both, I think, right? Together.
Yeah.
You
So
total
perception,
your
I would have 2, and awareness, I have 2. So I have a total pool of 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
so roll 4d10.
Yeah,
Sorry.
4d10. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Feel free to jump in when we're explaining mechanics to people. I don't mind.
4d10. Use/roll.
We're using the gaming chat for the rolls, right?
Yeah.
4x d10.
Did you roll?
Count. Yeah, no, one second. I'm just figuring out the bot count.
Yeah, so make sure you save, copy, and copy your thing that you type in after, and then you can just paste it in the future, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, no problem. I rolled 4162.
Okay, so yeah, so this is you just see some RVs, some people, roasting some marshmallows over a campfire, typical campground stuff. There's some children playing like a game of tag or whatever. But you don't see anybody who looks particularly in need of help.
Can I make an action?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to do?
So I have mind 3. So I would like to meditate for a second and just like slow down into like a Satori Zen state of like super awareness and see if I can mentally perceive anyone else in the area who has like magical aura about them by like reading the mind field. Can I do that?
Yeah, so let's see here. I'm thinking we might have to do both a magic roll for that, but also like what would you call it? Like, would you call that alertness? Or
I was thinking I would use just my mind magic to try and pick up any nearby mages in the like etheric field of the Akashic realm.
Okay, that's coincidental. No one's gonna notice that. So go ahead, roll your Arte.
Okay, for some reason it's not letting me paste, so let me enter it quickly.
What's the
Roll.
mechanic in Magic? You roll your Arte level, and then you roll your dice from the sphere.
So the sphere. So you're always rolling your Arte. The spheres you have, the points you have in your sphere determine how much you can do in that particular domain, right?
So
if you
I'm
got-
rolling Arte 3.
Yeah. It's just so that like you're not getting that magic sort of starts out as a very difficult roll early on that sort of becomes more and more possible as you level up, right? But like what? Go ahead.
Mechanic is not like functions or something like that.
Hmm?
Just asking you what the mechanic, not why it is that way.
Well, what it is the sphere. The sphere is not the sphere. The sphere's points are different than all the other points because what the sphere points represent is your mastery over that sphere. With 1 representing I can sense this sphere, and 5 representing like godlike control over this sphere. Right. So 2 would be basic manipulation. 3 would be skilled. 4 would be expert. 5 is god. Right. So.
I'm just asking, what's the roll? You always roll your Arete level regardless of how many points you have in the sphere?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I rolled 7, 1, and 8, so that 2 of those cancel out, so I got 1 success on my magic check, I believe. If the difficulty is... I got 7, 1, and 8, so if the difficulty is 7 or less, I might have 1 success.
Okay. Yeah. You sort of sense that there's someone around. Yeah.
I say to Tios, the one we're looking for is not far from here. Keep your eyes open.
How do you know you're not down at the lake?
Pardon me?
Nice.
Nothing.
Well, I'm saying like you can recognize that there's like a cognitive signature that you're not familiar with. That is sort of, yeah.
So we know that the one we're looking for is in the area, but I haven't been able to find him yet. So I say to Rupert, we're looking for someone out of the ordinary here. Keep your eyes open.
So I'd like to roll my perception.
Yeah.
Rupert has perception 2, and he also has alertness of 4, if that counts for anything.
What are you trying to do, Tios?
I'm reacting to what Ghost just told me. To keep an eye out.
He's trying to see if he can spot the guy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Would you like to make we can go with alertness if you want. Perception and alertness.
So dice pool 6.
Oh. Are those both okay? Yeah. So you look around and you again like Valen, you just sort of see a lot of people just sort of hanging around, but you do see something a little bit odd in that you see a guy in like you see a guy like looking around in a similar way to you. Like he seems to be looking for someone, and you're you know he's like looking over. He's like moving his eyes all around the area. Seems like he's searching for something. and that's the most standout thing you see.
So I nudge Ghost and motion towards the individual that stands out.
I approach the individual who just parked his motorcycle and took his helmet off, and I greet him with a short bow.
Oh,
Okay, Valen, you see Rupert and Ghost, the two people you don't know the name of and have never met, and they're approaching you, and one of them bows to you. What do you do?
I look at the man bowing to me, quite puzzled, and I proceed to look at the other one, evaluate their presence near me, and I've asked the one who's bowing towards me, "Yes, sir. How may I help you?"
I say, my name is Joseph. We just parked our RV for the to camp for the next couple weeks. What brings you to this area?
Well, I'm how could we put this? A voyager of this world and helper of those in need. We could put it that way. And how about you, my dear friend? What brings you to these nice woods?
We just needed a little bit of a vacation and a place to get a bit of a breather. We've been working a little bit too hard. Are you interested in coming to join us at our RV for a beer?
Well, I personally do not drink, my fair friend. I do not indulge in such practices, but I can come join you for a quick chat. I have
Maybe
no
we can have a
qualms with you.
Maybe we can make a campfire, I suggest. I'd like to introduce you to my friend down by the lake. Are you interested in perhaps going down to the lake for a quick swim?
I
Or
couldn't
just
sure visit the lake, but I'm quite intrigued. Why are you so willing to go to this lake?
I say I have sometimes a little bit of a sixth sense about people, and something tells me that you might be an important person. I look at him with like studying him carefully and looking like deep into his eyes to see how he reacts to this information.
Valen, what does your character look like? What are you wearing? What do you look like?
My character is about 6'3". Wait, let me just go in the upper and because I have a picture. I posted a picture of my characters on my character book, so I can read the description. About
kind of mumbling.
6'3", a rugged man, about 56, has gray hairs poking through his red hair, a long flowing beard with long red hair slicked back going down, with a big red burly nose and a quite puffy face. The poster images.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
How does it work if we try and use our stats like with each other, like not against each other? But can I roll like a charisma roll to convince Valen to come with me, or how does that work?
So generally, I don't know what the rules for mage are, but generally, you can't you can't manipulate a PC the same way you could manipulate
A
like
fun way to run
NPC.
that mechanic. A fun way to run that mechanic is just you roll for it, and the other player just decides whether or not it's a high enough level for them to be.
Well, I thought you usually have like face-off rolls too. Like one character has an offensive stat and another character has a defensive stat.
But he's not necessarily against coming with me, so he wouldn't necessarily be resisting. He might or might not be, right?
Right. So when you do the PvP, not the DM, but the other character chooses the DC. In other words, like, okay, my character would be convinced with it. If we're playing D&D, a DC of 20, meaning like it's really going to be hard. But if you roll a crit, I'll go with you. Or you only have to roll like a 2. Just don't crit fail, and I'll come with you. You know what I mean? So that's a good way to run PvP mechanics. I would suggest for this. So there is no compulsion, but you can still use the dice in the role play PvP.
Right. Okay.
Does
Well,
that sound
yeah.
fair?
Yeah, so one thing I will say, because I know we haven't gotten a lot of this, I do judge the DC based for social like charisma, like you're trying to convince someone of something. Not that it matters here, because again, it's going to be up to Valen whether he joins you. But just a general tip is the way I generally do convincing an NPC of something is always going to be based on what you say, right? So if you say something to an NPC that actually makes a lot of sense and is like a really reasonable, good argument for why they should work with you, right? That I always think of that as being a lower DC than saying like, well, you should do exactly what I say because I'm telling you. Like that's a much harder DC than
Right. So my proposal right now is simply that Valen come and join us for a campfire by the lake, and I'd like to roll charisma to try and make that like an attractive offer, so that he doesn't be like, "Who's this weirdo who's asking me to go to the swimming with him or whatever." So I say, we're yeah.
I was just gonna say, I guess what I will do here is we'll do like the best of both worlds, where you roll, and then I'll tell Valen like the vibe he gets from you, right?
Okay. So first of all, what I'm actually saying is, it's nice to meet you, sir. We were just about to make a campfire and maybe have a drink or two by the lake. If you'd care to join us, I have a feeling that there might be something important that we need to talk about, and then I'll roll charisma, which is 3. So I rolled a 6, a 1, and a 10.
Okay, yeah, Valen. So you get the vibe that this guy, he's definitely not like dangerous to you at the moment. You know, he might he could be potentially a good asset and a good friend to try and make. So what do you do, Valen?
My character scratches his beard for a moment and ponders the question, then looks over the group of two men who came to introduce themselves to him, and looks at them and says, "I accept your offer, kind sirs. I appreciate it very much."
So he accepts the offer. You accepted?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any beer? Do we have any beer in the RV?
There's this is in the States. You can just go to like a regular store and get beer, right?
Right.
Yeah, we would have tried to load up on supplies and food, knowing that we're gonna lay low for a while.
Okay.
Right. We can either assume that, or I can say that there is like a campground store that's got like a limited selection of like, you know, very standard beers, right? So you guys take your pick as to.
So how about I walk with Valen. What's your character's name?
Cal don't.
What is it again?
Cal just for now.
Cal.
It's kind of hard to hear you. What mic are you using?
Yeah, just try hard to speak loudly and clearly, because you're kind of mumbling a little bit.
No issues there. My character's name is Cal Domu.
Cal. I say, nice to meet you, Cal. Let's just pick up a case of beer and go down. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. I think you guys are going to get along great. And so we walk by the campground with with Rupert, Ghost, and Cal. I pick up like a 12-pack of like American beer, Budweiser, and then we would head down to look for Grug by the river.
Okay, so you guys, as you guys are walking, right? Rupert just starts to he starts freaking out a bit, right? And he just says like, I need to make sure my napkins are okay. Fuck, right? And he runs off to the camper to go check on something. He doesn't seem like he's gonna do anything drastic. He just seems like he's having a bit of a moment.
All right. So I say, don't worry about him. He just had to check on something. Let's go find my friend Raul, and we'll see if we can make a campfire. So we go looking.
No problem there, but what was that about the napkins?
I say it's a long story. Don't worry about it for now. We'll explain everything in due time.
Okay, so yeah, so you guys start your fire or whatever?
Well, we have to find Raoul first, wherever he is.
Oh, you know where he is. Like he said he was going to the lake, and you can
Okay.
see the lake from the RV. It's just through some woods. But like you can see through to the other side of the woods, right? They're not that thick. So you can sort of
Right.
see him off in the distance having a little bit of a swim.
All right. So we walk down to the shore. I put the case of beer down and I start collecting firewood.
Are there any cliffs on this lake, or is it low? Is it all low, even beach line?
It's mostly low, but there is like a part let's say to the relative to you facing the lake to the left, there is like an incline upward that leads to a cliff.
Well, if there's any cliffs, even like of unreasonable height, I'm just gonna be like trying to backflip off of them, and climb up again and stuff. That's what I'm doing now.
There's
Okay.
also like a no, go ahead guys. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I crack open a Budweiser as I start collecting sticks and branches for a campfire. And while I'm doing so, I strike up a conversation with Cal. And I say, so Cal, where do you hail from? Or where are you from?
Well, from where my journey started doesn't really matter. The fact is, I am here now. And how about you, sir? What brought you here to this point?
I say everything happens for a reason, and in my experience, usually more than one reason. But I've learned there's no such thing as a coincidence, especially when it comes to people like you and me. And I kind of nod knowingly, as though he should already understand what I'm referring to.
Al looks at the man and breaks a quick smile from the corner of his lips, and then proceeds to walk forward.
Okay, so if I've gathered enough firewood for a fire, I'd like to make a fire now and gesture for him to sit at the fire with me.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. What do you guys do? So Shogun makes a fire. Valen, do you sit down?
Yeah, I sit down with him.
I say, listen, I don't want to waste any of your time. It's not an accident that we met here. You're not exactly what you seem. There's more to you than meets the eye. We've been sent here for a specific purpose, and we're looking for a specific person. I have a strong feeling you might be the one that we've been sent here to find.
And who have you been sent to find?
I say my employer for now. My employer has sent me to find someone who is not like the rest of the humans here. Let me think about this for a second. What would I say?
I will remind you, Shogun, that the basically the only thing you've been told about this guy is that he's sort of known as like a local healer.
Right. But we don't have access to Rudolph, so that's not going to work. None of us are injured. Right. So I'll ask a question. I say, my friend Rudolph there has a little bit of a medical Rupert. My friend Rupert has a little bit of a medical condition. Do you, by any chance, have any medical experience?
I indeed have quite a bit of experience with when it comes to medical use. What is his ailment?
I say that is a complicated question. But can you tell me a little bit about your healing experience or your medical experience?
I went to medical school for quite a few years and spent some time as a field medic.
I say, well, then maybe it really is for a reason that we've met. I'm going to level with you. I told you my name was Joshua. That was a lie. I'm actually known as Ghost, or at least that's what you can call me. Our line of work is rather dangerous, so someone with your skill set would be very valuable to us, and we're quite capable of compensating you and making it very much worth your while. If you don't have anything else demanding your time right now, I'd like to suggest you join our little team. I can promise you it can be very lucrative indeed and very rewarding.
Do you need your book, baby?
So what would benefit me from joining your little group?
I say the rewards can be numerous, financial for one, but I think what's really going to matter to you is that we can offer you an opportunity to peel back the veil of secrecy here in reality and show you things you may not have even known existed. We can introduce you to people who can help you with whatever your own goals are. And beyond that, it's the adventure that matters. We're in the midst of exciting times and important things are happening behind the scenes. I think that you have a bigger role to play than you realize. I realize I'm asking you to take a lot on trust right now. You don't know me and I don't know you. But I give you my word that if you come along with us, you won't regret it.
I approach as this conversation is going on. I say with kind of a snarky, half sinister smile. Plus, it's always good to have more friends rather than less, wouldn't you say? And I look at Shogun and I go, "This is the guy."
I nod as though to confirm that, but very subtly nod, like without even looking at Grug. I just kind of very slightly tip my head. I say, you have my word. We're not here to hurt you. If anything, you could consider this a job offer. Your compensation is up for you to decide, but I can promise you we can make it very much worth your while.
And as you're talking, Shogun, you guys hear like a blood curdling screech off in the distance. Yeah, and so what do you do? Yeah, you hear like a really inhuman screech.
I immediately look in the direction of the sound and say, it sounds like someone might need our help. It sounds like someone might need a healer. Let's go investigate. And assuming that you guys come with me, I head off in the direction of the noise.
Why is it always the weirdos who come up to talk to you, or always the ones who run off the screams that you don't run off to? As my character mutters that to himself as he runs off to following the man he just met.
Are you going to come too, Greg?
Grug? Give him a second. Grug?
You there, Greg?
Sorry, I cut out there for about 45 seconds. What's up?
So we heard a blood-curdling screech in the distance during our conversation, and I said, it sounds like someone might be in need of a healer, and I started walking in the direction of the scream, and Valen followed me, or rather, Kyle followed me, and I'm just wondering if you're with us too.
I'm going to, and I'm like, hey, where did Rupert run off to?
I say, he just went back to keep an eye on the RV. He should be all right.
All right, well, I follow you guys. Did Rupert hear this as well, out of game or in game?
Okay, let me just read to you what Tio said. So Tio said, I got to step away for a moment. Maybe you can take over as a player for a second and just say Rupert had a breakdown. So Rupert's in the RV, okay, like manically looking over all the napkins to make sure they're okay, to make sure none of them have been tainted, right?
Yeah, no problem.
So do you take time to get dressed and rearm yourself, or are you coming in your swimsuit or your underwear?
Yeah, I'm coming in my underwear. I'm just gonna leave all my clothes by the fire, but I got my dagger and undershirt, barefoot.
Okay. So I lead the way using my sense of sound to track the noise, and I head through the woods towards the sound of the scream.
Okay, so as you progress through the woods, so just to give you sort of an image here of what's going on. So you have the RV in the middle in this sort of camp space, right? You have a ton of campers and various stuff, and then up a hill, like on the road left to the camper, like behind him to the left of the camper, is like a little camp store where they sell like food, like basic camp, like noodles and hot dogs and some beer and stuff. But then on the other side of the camper is the forest part of the forest that leads to the lake. And so behind the camper, but not to the left, is another forest, and that's where you hear the scream coming from. So you guys are sort of walking opposite to the lake here, and as you
Camper, that's what you're
Hmm?
saying.
what was that?
We have to pass the camper to get to the screen. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so as you guys sort of progress, as you guys like progress through the woods that were behind the camper where you heard this scream, you notice that it starts to get colder and colder the further you go. And Grug, you actually you're freezing your nipples off a little bit, but it's very cold. Not like not like ice cold, but like you're shivering a little bit.
I say something isn't right here. Prepare, be ready for anything. And I put my 2 pairs of carbon fiber brass knuckles on inside my pockets. And we continue to move towards the sound through the cold.
If we're passing by the RV, I'm just gonna slip in and grab my bulletproof vest and my gun, even though I'm not clothed otherwise. I also left my suit jacket in there, so if I can fit my suit jacket on over my bulletproof vest, I'll do that. Actually, forget that. Just bulletproof vest, undershirt, underwear, gun.
Okay.
So now Valen can see that this guy is wearing underwear and has a gun and a bulletproof vest that he just met.
Right.
But that's okay. Either way, we continue to head towards the sound of the scream and the cold.
So as you progress further into the woods, you start to the sort of coloration around the woods in this sort of late afternoon, like in the sort of pre-evening post-afternoon period where the sun's almost done setting. You notice that the sort of color dynamics of the forest have shifted, and it's starting to look very blue. And as you anyone who like, if someone wants to make like a perception check, just a perception check, I mean, I guess you can add an awareness onto it if you want, but anyone who wants to make that check, make that now.
Yeah, my perception is 2. I don't know if someone has a higher perception.
You said perception plus awareness, or just perception?
Okay, so did you guys roll? Sorry, my mom just came in real quick.
Is it perception plus awareness or just perception?
Perception plus awareness if you have both. If you have awareness.
Greg has dice pool 7 on that.
Okay, Grug, you roll. Grug, you roll.
That was pretty good.
Okay, Grug. So Grug, you as you guys progress through the woods and as things start to turn blue, what you notice is that there's actually 2 distinct screams. The other one was just the second scream was just too quiet. You assume was just too quiet to hear until you got this close. One of the screams sounds inhuman, and the other scream sounds like a child.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
Do the sounds come from the same area or different areas?
Same area.
Okay. Valen, this is just like a meta suggestion, but you have like some kind of falcon pet, don't you?
Yeah, I have a falcon, like familiar pet. Like you're sending to send it out and scout forward.
I'm suggesting that maybe your falcon could go like fly over the source of the sound, and if it's able to like communicate with you, you could like get us like some advance notice of what we're about to walk into.
Missile dude, can my falcon go forward?
Yeah.
See what's going on. Come back to me because I don't have any points in mind, so I don't know if I could mentally communicate with it. come
If
back
you
to me, and because of my high life sphere, I can like somewhat understand the Falcon.
yeah, I suppose what you could do is you could
Or
you're
do you
not
want me to
you're,
roll life and
uh
survival?
so
So
so roll your arte, and that's
yeah.
gonna represent your magical roll there, and then
So
what
what
did
do I
you
do to roll Arte?
so
What'd you say?
what level is your arte?
It's
How
at
many?
level 3.
Okay, so just roll 3d10 then.
Got it.
What?
And then what was the other thing you wanted to roll? Did you say survival?
Yeah, survival or life.
Okay, so if you want to roll survival, you can do that too. I'll give it a second for just do your rolls and we'll wait for Greg to get back. Okay, so roll 3d10 for your arte, and that'll represent your magic roll.
3, 2. I got a 2, 3, 2.
2, 3, 2. Okay, so you can't get like you're unable to get like a magical read. You send your falcon out, and your falcon flies over above the source of the sound, and it comes back. And you try to use your magical ability to like get a read, like a more direct read on its like biometrics to figure out what it
Just
saw.
one second. Valen, can you keep your mic closed when you're not actively speaking? Because we're getting background noise.
No issue. 1 second.
If you just turn on your noise cancellation, echo cancellation and noise suppression, it'll probably get it and make you come through clearer. That's probably why your mic hasn't been clear. FYI. Anyway, please
Okay,
continue.
so Valen, you try to like you send your falcon out. He flies over the source of danger. He comes back, and you try to use your life magic to get like a read on what he saw, but you can't. You can't quite focus right now, and you're unable to use magic to get a direct read. But you can tell from like the look in his eyes that the bird is very shaken up. So you come to the conclusion that whatever is ahead is quite dangerous. It's actually sort of like a it is your falcon is very freaked out right now, basically.
So, perceiving that I heard a child scream, I tell Greg, cover me, and I begin running in the direction of the sound.
And I'm doing so stealthily.
So I run up ahead full speed, and Greg follows behind me with his firearm, like covering my back.
Okay, so Shogun, you see what Shogun, does your character have any like background on like mythology or anything?
No, his only knowledge is medicine.
Okay,
My character has 2 and more.
You see a child cowering on the floor in fear, on the forest ground in fear, and sort of in front of it, or like approaching it is this sort of spectral image of a woman in sort of like a sort of nightgown, and it's floating above the ground a couple inches. It has also got from what you can see, it's got like very long claw-like nails, and it is screaming at the girl, and the girl is also herself screaming.
From a meta point of view, I can't probably fight this thing because it's like a ghost. But Greg has Spirit 3, so Greg could potentially use his magic to discern something about this creature and or interact with it in some way. For now, I simply position my body in between the ghost or the spectral creature and the girl or the child. Is it a male or a female child?
It's a little girl.
So I just simply position myself in between the specter and the child, and simply like stand there in a defensive posture, but unsure what to do.
Okay, Teos, you there? I'll give him one more second.
Teos, you back?
Okay,
He can
well,
still, he'll still be in out of scene anyway. So
well, yeah. Okay, so you said you're positioning yourself between the girl and the banshee.
yes,
Okay, everyone who's nearby to this, roll initiative. That would be you too, Grug, even though you're stealthed.
What's the
I will too.
So again, just because we haven't done it, that we haven't gotten to combat too many times. So your initiative is going to be so you roll 1d10, and then and then you add on to that roll whatever the size of your dexterity plus wits dice pool is. So if you have 2 dexterity and 3 wits, for example, then you add 5 onto whatever you roll on the d10.
I'm with you. Okay, I'm rolling my D10, and then my initiative bonus is 8.
I roll 14 total.
Okay,
Well, that's not rolling.
so that's 14.
Valen rolled 10, so you need to count up your wits and dexterity.
Yeah, I rolled 15 total.
Okay, so it's looking like.
Can someone roll for me? I'm having problems with the bot for some reason.
Okay, Shogun, can you roll for him?
Yep. So I got 14, Valen got 15, and Greg rolled a 9.
Okay,
And
so
Greg,
So plus 8.
so that brings you to a 17.
Okay, Valen, you're up first. What do you do?
No, well, I'm about first.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
Okay. So after the dexterity plus wits, Grug is first.
Greg
Valen
goes first, then Valen, then Shogun.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, Grug, what do you do?
I'm a little bit unclear on what the spirit sphere does, but I think I actually have only 2 points in. I had 3 in life, so I'm going to, despite the fact that the child is there, try to just use spirit. I was gonna try to use spirit to like banish, or let me do this. I'm gonna create a magical spirit barrier around the child as the banshee encloses in.
Okay.
So I'm Eritia 3. So I just
Yeah.
rolled 3.
Yeah.
Even though I'm only 2 spheres.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bot is like plugged up for me. I don't know if there's a way to like.
That's okay. I rolled for you, but I didn't roll well. So 4, 7, and 2. That is one success, probably though.
Yeah. So you Grug, you managed to create what seems to be a very unsecure but still there a barrier around the child, and she seems to be protected, at least for the moment. Valen, you're up.
What could I do to this? Wait, I have 2 in lore. Could I try and figure out what exactly we are fighting?
Yeah,
I have
if you
2
want to
in
roll,
lore and I think 3 in occult.
if you want to
Yes, 2 in
roll,
occult.
if you want to roll either intelligence and lore or lore and occult, whichever you have higher points in, go ahead.
Okay, let me just roll real quick. So I rolled 2 dice and I rolled 2d10 pretty much.
Well, no, you have higher than that. So you're gonna roll
Oh, yeah, no.
You're
Okay,
gonna
yeah, so I
roll
rolled a
lore
total
plus
of,
occult would be 5 if you have 2 and 3 in those. So
okay,
you
so I
could roll
rolled a total of
5d10.
6.
What did you roll?
I can only roll 5 dice at a time, so I'm gonna roll 5 and then one extra,
Okay.
so I can get a total of 6.
You roll. I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So just roll d5, or rather 5d10.
I rolled 6, 7, 10, 1, 5, 5.
So most likely the 10 cancels the 1, and most likely the 6 and 7 will succeed. But we'll wait for the DM.
Okay, what did Valen roll?
6, 7, 10, 1, 5, and 5.
Okay, Valen, you are aware that this thing is a banshee. It's got some. You can you know from your knowledge of these things that this thing can either be dealt with in a straight on fight, in which it is immune to physical attacks, but can be damaged by anything magical. Meaning like say Shogun, your
Force.
you're for like you can empower your fist with magic and then you can punch it and that will work. Or you could find some sort of like whatever sort of link is keeping it attached to this world. And if you can sort of release that chain, it will also sort of release the spirit.
I'm assuming that because this is a banshee, it's going to be inherently hostile. So I was thinking about using mind to try and convince it to leave us alone. But as it appears to be an entity of evil nature, I'm instead going to attack it if it's my turn.
Well, first, if it's still my turn, I'll inform. Well, pretty much you already did it, but I guess my character in the story would inform everyone on how to deal with said banshee.
Right.
So if you, just as a tip for role playing, rather than saying like I explained to everybody that it's a banshee, you could try and say like I've encountered these creatures before. It's called a banshee. It's susceptible to magical attacks or something like that, right? You can say that you explain it, but you could also do it first person as well.
Yeah, no, I comprehend that. It's just that Doomus already did it. I didn't know
Yeah.
if you guys wanted to go through it again.
Okay. So is it my action now?
Well, if Valen wants to, I guess we're gonna do this sort of like D&D, where you can do like an action, but you also get to reposition if you want. So Valen, if you want to move closer or behind a tree or something, like you can still move.
Yeah, so like main action, move action, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so my character.
Yeah.
Can I reposition my character more into the woods and then roll survival to see if I can position myself like better hidden with knowledge with the trees? I can better position myself within them
I think you're
using a survival roll.
only going to
Or
get
would
one
that count
action.
as an action?
If
And
you're
I just
rolling, if you're rolling, it would count as an action, I believe.
Yeah.
So that being the case, is it my initiative or the Banshees?
then I'll just reposition closer to the forest.
It is your initiative, Tio or Shogun.
Okay, so Ghost meditates momentarily and focuses his chi energy in his heart chakra, and then channels that spiritual energy into his fists to generate like what would be the most effective kind of force. Just is pure magical force a force, or does it have to be like fire, electricity, or something like
No, it
that?
can be like pure magical. It can just be like you're channeling mana into your
Okay, so
brass knuckle or whatever.
Like a gravity wave.
I would like to roll a rite to empower my fists with force so that I can interact with the Banshee.
Okay, yeah. So roll 3, is it?
Yeah, 3 points in a rite.
Right. Okay.
So 9, 3, and 3.
Yeah, so you are able you managed to channel the energy into your brass knuckles. So now if you want now you got to make an attack roll. Do you
Okay.
remember how to do that?
Is that going to be my martial arts skill plus my dexterity?
So it's going to be dexterity plus brawl or martial arts, either or.
Okay. So that's going to be a total of 9. So I'm going to roll 5 and then 4. And that gives me a roll of 1, 6, 3, 4, 5. So far, no good.
Actually,
Oh,
for melee for attack rolls, you only need to hit the difficulty is always 6, right?
okay. So I
You
got a
got
total of 1, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 7, 6. So that's 2 1s, 3 6s, and a 7.
You have it written down anywhere? So how many hits in total is that?
So the 6s cancel out the 1s, so that should give me 2 successes after you deduce the 1s, right? Well, 1,
Okay,
2, 3,
so
4. I got 5 successes and 2 critical failures.
okay, so that's one additional success after the first one. And would you do you remember do you have it written down anywhere what the damage rating on your
No,
brass
I'm not
knuckles?
sure how the brass knuckles work in terms of combat, but I would assume the brass knuckles wouldn't, or I guess if I'm channeling it into my brass knuckles, but I was
Well,
thinking it
yeah,
would just be my actual fists that would be doing the damage, since the
yeah,
brass
yeah.
knuckles probably wouldn't hurt the banshee.
It's not like it's like you're sort of using mana to create like a sort of field around your sort of fist that allows you to touch the thing basically. So you're
Right.
still doing it's like physical damage. You just have
Yeah.
to yeah.
Empower it.
So,
So do my brass knuckles maybe add 1 damage, or what do
so
they
your
do?
brass knuckles do 6 damage.
Okay.
And so you get a bonus damage from the additional success. So you're gonna do 7 damage, right? Where do you punch this thing?
Right in the face, of course.
Okay, so you punch it, and it's sort of like as though it were a zombie, or as though it were like made out of flesh. Although even though it's spectral, its like head starts to like rip off its body a little bit and sort of dangling a little bit, and then it screams at you, like right in your ear. Um. And it swipes at you. Let's see here. Sorry, I gotta go back and forth between a lot of tables, right? Um. Also, I can give you, if you guys want later in a bit, I can give you some charts on like very common magical combination spells. Right? It's not an exhaustive list, obviously, just because it's very open ended. But it's like some charts on like very basic stuff you can do with different spheres, right? Um. But one sec. Combat rules, combat rules. Oh, hang on, I had it in my actual notes. Okay. It's going to claw you. So that's we'll call that a bare hand attack. So dexterity plus brawl. So it's gonna be roll d10, count 3. Okay. So Shogun, it like claws at your chest, but it doesn't manage to get through your armor.
Excellent.
Okay, back to the top of the order. Grug, it's you again. Grug? Hello?
You there, Greg?
Do you want to wait a minute? What do we do?
Yeah, we can give him a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Greg, you there? Uh, if you want, I can play for him, or we can skip to Valen and just change his initiative order.
Yeah, we'll just do that. So yeah, it's Valen, you're up next.
Oh my
So
god.
currently the Banshee is closest to Ghost
Yeah,
and just attacked him.
yeah. Wasn't able to penetrate his armor though.
Does my
Yeah,
armor work against ghosts?
Well, see, it's a similar. It's sort of like the reverse of what you're doing, where
Mhm.
it's like a physical attack, but like
Gotcha.
by way. Yeah, so yeah, it wasn't. Her claws weren't able to penetrate your vest.
Got it. So Valen, it's your action.
Yeah, I'm just considering what I could do with forces, or if I go with life.
I don't know if life is going to work on this thing because it's undead, but you could empower your attack like I did using force, or you could make a direct force attack, but that would be more vulgar.
Yeah, I was almost thinking of making it undead, not. I mean, making it living, which would be very vulgar. But at this point, there's also a little girl seeing a ghost,
I don't know if
and
making it living would necessarily be a good thing either.
making it living would make physical damage easier and would remove. It would just be a physical human woman, and
Well,
yes, it
maybe,
would
or
be.
you might create like a crazy zombie that, because remember its head is already hanging off, right? So if you bring it to life,
Okay,
you're
yeah.
going to bring to life some like monstrous creature that has like its head hanging off. That I don't think that's going to help us.
Yeah,
I mean, it
never
might,
mind.
but I don't think you want to bring it to life necessarily. I'm trying to kill it.
Could I try and banish it with life magic?
Do you have spirit?
No, I don't have spirit. I just have life.
Yeah, you would need spirit to try and banish it.
Okay. With forces, could I do like a wind funnel to create distance between Ghost and the Banshee?
You could do that. That makes sense.
So you're going to try and blow it away with a gust of wind?
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll.
You're going to roll
So I roll
3d10.
plus
Just
3d10.
3d10. Yeah. For Arte or Arite. Yeah. Greg, we passed your initiative, but you get to go next.
574.
Okay, yeah, you don't do it great, but you do manage to create some distance between. You manage to blow. Wait. Where are you? Where are you? Like, from what are you blowing it away from Shogun, or are you blowing Shogun away from it? You're blowing it away from Shogun, I assume.
Well, my character, how well does he do it?
He does it. He does it. He does it well enough for it to be successful, but he didn't do it amazingly.
Okay, so Kyle lifts his walking stick into the air, channeling as much magic as he can through it, and then proceeds to slam down the staff onto the ground. The effects of the magic causing the wind in the airs around them to change and shift, causing a wind funnel to blast down between Shogun and the Banshee, sending them both flying back a bit.
Okay, I see. So Shogun, you are now sort of right. You're sort of right next to the child now.
I see.
And
So
I will point out, just because I'm not going to get you to roll for this, you notice that she's holding in her hand like a really like ragged old world style doll.
well, it's Greg's move now. So I'm how far away from the Banshee now?
We'll say a good 10 meters.
So I just got like picked up off my feet and like flown through the air by a gust of wind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said, well, if I understand correctly, Valen put it between the two of you, so it blew you both in opposite directions.
Okay.
Am I able to just
It's your turn.
damage directly magic.
Yes. What Valen was able to determine from his occult knowledge was that this thing can be damaged with magic. Even if it's just like
I'm
imbuing a physical weapon with magic.
I'm asking about like what the life sphere does. Given this thing is undead, can I just like
Like your sphere that's going to work
Does
against
life
this thing is spirit, right?
permit like some sort of what I mean? Like I just want to shoot a ray of life magic. Hello?
Hello? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you. So you're wondering if life magic will directly hurt the undead creature.
I think
Right.
that's pretty I'm not sure how you feel about the Shogun, but I do think that is pretty that is like a stereotypical like thing in a lot of games where like if you've got like healing magic, that's like that like undead things are weak against that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I told Valen not to try and bring the thing to life, but maybe you could use life magic to directly hurt an undead creature. It's up to the DM. But again, this thing is a spirit, and you have points in spirit as well. So like you could use spirit to directly hurt it as well, probably.
What do you want to do?
I use spirit first. I use spirit the first time to create a ward, and seeing that didn't work well, and that I'm relatively new to these kind of powers and fights, that I'm just gonna try my light magic to just create a ray of magic to reverse whatever flow of undead, evil, unholy, and 3, 10, and a 4.
Ooh, awesome. Yeah, so you do roll a hang on, how am I going to determine this? Yeah, so you know so the thing lets out like a wail of pain, right? And it starts to fade a bit. It's still there, but it's like sort of flickering a little bit. It's losing its opacity, right? So you can tell that it's not quite gone, but it's very weak.
All right, that's it.
Okay, Shogun, your turn.
All right, so because I have the same magical power of life, I'm able to see that what Grug just did was effective, and that the creature is being negatively affected by life energy. So I am going to do the same thing, essentially, sensing what is happening in the ether that Grug is doing. I simply tap into my own life magic and add it to the existing effect that he has just done to try and like empower it further. So can I also roll my Arite?
Yes. What are you trying to? You're trying to use life magic to damage it again?
I'm literally just like adding my power to Grug's already flowing power because I'm sensing that it's actually having an effect. So I'm just like adding my power to his, basically.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm rolling a Arite of 3. And I roll 5, 1, and 3. So that does nothing.
No, you can't quite get it to work, no. Would you like to move? Would you like to take a move?
Can I use my move action to take the doll from the child?
Yes.
Okay, so I will take the doll out of the child's hands.
And as you do this, the banshee screams and points its long ugly finger at the doll.
And I have no more moves now, right?
Well, the banshee starts moving towards you, but now we're back up to Grug.
Does the banshee action or?
That was the banshee's. The banshee was too far away to get to you in one turn.
Okay.
I'm doubling down on my ray beam. Sorry, I rolled 5. Just assume it's the first 3, I guess. Or the last
Yeah.
plant.
Okay, we're just gonna. Okay, if it's the first three or the last three, it doesn't matter because either way, yeah. Do you want to describe how you finish this thing off? If I'll give you this little role play chance here.
Sure, as I feel the banshees incorporeal unlife fading, I focus on what it means to be alive and and the good things that people experience and the fun times that people have and the happy thoughts that hold back the night as I will this creature into non-existence.
Right, and as this thing starts to fade even more and starts to disappear out of reality, you see almost like a tear out of its face as it focuses its attention on the doll that Shogun is holding, and after a moment it just fades into nothingness, and the blue hue surrounding the area sort of disappears, and it's just the three of you and the child.
I nod and express that I'm impressed, and I say to Grug, "You're learning quickly, very quickly."
See that? I didn't know I could do that. Man, that guy from the technocracy must have done something to us.
I say, the first rule of this spook shit is that there's nothing that's impossible. So believe in yourself, and the world will believe in you. So that being said, I asked the little girl, "Are your parents around? Do you know where your parents are?"
And she sort of like got tears running down her face, and she doesn't say anything. But she like nods, and she's like reaches her hand up for the doll, right?
I am questioning whether we should give this haunted doll back to the child or whether we should throw it in the campfire that we made.
Let's keep the doll. Who knows what's wrong with it? We don't want bringing that banshee back. And who is this girl?
I asked the girl, "What's your name, little girl?"
She seems like a. Okay, let me. Fuck. She says her name is Lisa, and yeah, she just says her name is Lisa.
I say, "Lisa, I'm going to hold on to your doll for a little while just to make sure that it's safe, okay? Now show us where your parents are. We need to get you home."
Right. She like points in the direction of the camp, right?
Okay. I pick the child up and we go in the direction that she pointed.
Okay.
I'm definitely not going to take this little girl back to her parents' camp in only underwear, so I'll just head back to the
RV. Okay.
All right, so I will attempt to find the child's parents and explain to them that I found her crying in the woods.
My character goes up to. I go up to Ghost and I asked him to see the doll, and I inspect it with the lore and occult. Can I use lore, occult, and intelligence?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lore and occult.
Roll that. Roll lore and occult.
Actually, I'm going down to the lake, I guess. That's where I left my clothes. So lake, then RV.
Don't forget to bring the beer back.
That's right.
You
I rolled a 5, 5, 1, 7, 10.
Okay, yeah. So you get the feeling that this doll was the Banshee's link, right? So that's like the thing sort of keeping it tied to this world.
So the way I see it, we either destroy this object or we keep it and return it to HQ. HQ probably would want to investigate this as a paranormal object. But if we keep it with us, it's possible the Banshee might reform at some point.
Yeah, let's try it if we can.
Destroy it?
The Banshee could come back at any moment. Yes, that is true. I do not know what allegiance you hold to whatever research company you want to give this to, but the best course of action would be to destroy it as quickly as possible.
Okay, so I give the doll to Cal and tell him to go with Ral and throw the doll in the fire while I return the child to her family.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So the parents they buy your story. They don't think anything suspicious is going on. They noticed that she had walked off, and they just assume that she got like lost in the woods and that you found her there alone. So they thank you. You see the dad. He's sort of like he's got his like grill open. He offers you like he's like, do you want a burger or a hot dog or something? And you know.
I just shake my head and say thank you, but I'm okay. And then I head back to the RV, or I
Okay.
suppose to the campfire.
Okay.
So we get down to the lake, and while Shogun's still approaching, I'm putting my clothes back on. And I was like, I'm asking the new guy, who I haven't even fully met yet. I'm like, so what do you think about our happy little pirate ship over here? We're getting a team together, and maybe we could use someone like you next time a Banshee comes around. Did I cut out again?
Valen?
I feel like I cut out.
No,
No,
we
we
heard
didn't.
you. Valen, did you hear that?
Yeah, no, I heard that. I'm just considering how my character would respond.
Look, it's non-committal. It's just we got a nice setup here and a bit of a black budget and definitely some perks to being involved with Syncor, even if you're not fully on board. Why don't you call it a trial period, just to see if you like what we do? And then, if money interests you, there's a lot of that to be had. I say as I kind of put the last button on my suit, ties loose, put my cuff link in, and stuff my dagger back in. So now I'm kind of like fully equipped as per usual. Either way, think about it. For now, let's just get rid of that doll.
Kyle walks over to the fire and looks over the doll one more time before just chucking it in and walking back slowly. He looks over at Rawl and seems to ponder his offer.
Have I?
Pull my gun and shoot the doll 4 times. Pop, 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 and then go, ha, 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 ha. Stupid Banshee.
You notice that as you shoot the doll, like people are like going like, what the like people are like giving you angry looks like it's a campground. What are you doing with firing off a gun in a campground?
I just kind of laugh and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm kind of waving. I'm hi, and I put the gun away. My bad.
Have I arrived back at the campfire yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so I say to Valen, if there was any doubt that you're the person that we were looking for, you've just dispelled it. As you can see, all of us here have abilities that ordinary people don't have. Obviously, you already know more about these things than you're letting on. Let me tell you a little hint. This is a dangerous world, and if you want to stay alive, it's better to be in a group than alone. I wouldn't have wanted to handle that Banshee by myself, and we never know what's going to come up next. So you watch our backs, and we'll watch yours. How does that sound?
Well, your friend Rawl here already gave me the quick rundown of what would entail of me if I were to join your little escapade here, but I have a question to ask you, Ghost. What are you guys here to do, and what are your commitments to this world?
To this world? I say each of us walks our own path in life. There are many roads to the top of the mountain, and the road to enlightenment is littered with the corpse of the ignorant. All of us are seeking ascension. What that means is different to every mage. But together, we pursue our goals, and we rise towards that supreme goal that we call ascension. If you join us, we may not know why or how, but I know that our goals are aligned.
Personally, I've got up my sleeve and a few different alternatives that I could pursue if the chance shows itself. But for now, I just want to stay alive and figure out what the hell is going on with this magic stuff. I haven't ever done anything like that before, and best to stick with the SynCorp for now, just for some overhead and some insight and direction. But my commitments are pretty low altogether.
I kind of look at Grug somewhat like dubiously as he says that, or like just questioningly, just kind of study his facial expressions.
What the?
My character takes in a deep sigh and says, well, I might as well join you fine folks. See this trial run as you said, raw. And from there, we'll see what happens.
I say, excellent. I don't think you'll regret your choice. Like I said, it's a dangerous world out there, and having some friends by your side is never a bad thing. We never know what's going to happen next. But for now, the safest place is the RV. Why don't you come back with us, and we'll introduce you to our friend Rupert.
You lead the way, kind sir.
Okay, so we take the remaining beer. I crack a second Budweiser as I walk. I know Greg and you don't drink, so I guess I got a whole case of Bud. So I walk back to the RV. We all do, and we check on Rudolph. Sorry, Rupert. I don't know why I keep saying Rudolph. Rupert.
Yeah, so let's just get a vibe check on Teos. Teos, you there, buddy? Okay, I'll give him 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're just gonna hand wave Teos right now. We're not gonna make his character do too much. We're just gonna say that you guys go into the RV and you see Rupert like painstakingly going through all the boxes of napkins you guys got from the McDonald's and like flipping through them and checking the condition of every single one. And he's counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, he's like counting under his breath, right? And yeah.
Okay. So I suggest that we secure the RV, and then I tell Grug, go ahead and call corporate that we've acquired the asset.
I nod and do so.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to maybe pause the gameplay here since Rupert is not here and we've recruited Cal? Or do you want to keep playing? This might be it.
Let's do like a 10-15 minute bathroom break and then keep going if you guys want.
We might want to. I mean, if you guys want to do that, we can. I'm not opposed to it. I just think it might be a better idea to wait till later when maybe Chios is back on, right? Because
why don't we take an indeterminate break? We'll say that was another session. We'll wrap up the recording, and then if Rupert comes back and everybody wants to play some more, I'm down. I got a couple more hours, but I'm going to walk to the dispensary and see if I can buy some joints. But if you guys are ready to play, I can play even when I'm walking. So.
Okay, I would just like to say, everyone, write down on your character sheet, or whoever's doing the character sheets, give everyone, literally, like, give Grug, you Shogun, Teos, and Valen, give everyone 8 experience points. And so mark that down in 2 ways. Mark down the total experience, and mark down the current experience that is unspent. So write 8 experience in 2 different places.
8 experience in 2 different places.
So write a total experience and write a current experience. Right. The current experience is how much you have to spend right now. The total will be how much you've collected across the whole campaign.
Okay.
Right?
So I've written down 8 for all of us in both current and total experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't we get 7 from the last session?
So the apparently it's recommended to give hang on. It's recommended to give between like 3 to 4 for a full session. So this 8 that I'm giving you is for both games.
Okay. So are we going to spend them now or just save them and wrap up?
Well, if you want to look through, it's up to you, right?
Can we raise a sphere for 7?
I need to look through the leveling up rules. I've never,
Okay.
But I will do that in a moment here, and then maybe when you get back from the dispensary, you can, you can do that.
Ghost is both impressed and like vaguely chagrined that Greg got the kill on the Banshee instead of him. But he doesn't express that other than through like a kind of like reassessing look at Greg, like, oh, I didn't know he had that degree of power.
Neither did Rawl.
Mm-hmm. And I say to him, what you're experiencing right now is sometimes referred to as awakening. You're waking up from the dream of reality. And when you wake up from the dream of reality, you can start lucid dreaming while you're awake. It's a good way to think about magic. Anything you could do in a dream, you can do in the real world, because the real world is but a dream. I'm trying to use like Zen aphorisms to like help him understand the nature of magic.
And I'm understanding it, but just kind of downplaying. I'm like, yeah, it just seems like somebody put something in my coffee this morning. Maybe we should keep that guy.
I kind of shrug and take another sip of my Budweiser and try and, well, nothing else really, I guess. We lock up the RV, Tios's OCD counting napkins, and we invite Cal to make himself at home. And I say to Cal, if you have any questions, I can't promise you I can answer them, but don't hesitate to ask. So Greg calls in HQ, reports that we found the asset, and we'll wrap up the session now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dude Missile, for DMing again. Thank you to Rupert, Ral, and Cal, aka Grug, Tios, and Valen, for playing. This was our second session of Mage the Ascension. You can find the first episode on the YouTube channel. This one will be uploaded as well, and we will continue to play, record, and upload these sessions. I hope you enjoyed as much as we do. Join the Temple Mount Discord server, and make sure you join our YouTube and BitChute channels for hundreds of great podcasts. That being said, we will see you back here very soon. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to banish the bot, so to speak, and send the recording to Mr. Fidelis.